Last year, I earned over 130,000 euros or just around $150,000. And depending where you are in the world, that might not sound a lot, it might sound a lot. If you're in the US, it's probably somewhere on the average income, I'm not sure. But for me, living in a small country, small European country, where the average salary is just 1,500 euros per month after taxes, I'm kind of earning 7 times the average income. And last year, well, to be honest, the beginning of this year, once I kind of saw all of the numbers sort of in place, I actually felt for the first time that I'm getting closer to my dream lifestyle that I thought was very far away. And it seems like whatever I'm doing, it seems to be working. And, through smart and hard work, hopefully, like you can achieve what you want. And I'm definitely on that journey. And because last year was so good, I was able to visit New York with my girlfriend and then went to Japan where I even proposed to her. So I think all of this is now possible because I made one simple key decision in my life about like 10 or 9 years ago. And that was to be independent. In this video, I don't have any secret sauce or step-by-step guide on how you can do the same things, but I much rather talk about something that I don't see many other people talking, and it's the power of strategic decision. And it sounds probably very simple. Decisions, that's easy. I want to decide that I'm rich and now what? I'm going to be rich? Well, it's not really, it doesn't work really like that. But we are presented with a lot of choices throughout our life, throughout our day, throughout our weeks. And depending on what we decide to do in those moments, actually dictates what happens in the future. So if you come home and you are not really feeling it, but you know that working out is kind of good for you, but you still decide and actually implement that decision and go and work out, well, in a year's time, throughout many of these hundreds of decisions that you need to make every single day, you are going to achieve the certain results. It's the same goes about your dream lifestyle. If you want something, you kind of have to make not just one big decision that, hey, I'm going to start freelancing, or I decided I want to be rich, or I decided I want to invest. That's not really how it works. You need to make very small but very consistent decisions every single day. And honestly, I'm seeing so many opportunities all around us. And I believe anyone can actually achieve the things if you're willing to make those decisions every single day. I know it's difficult, it's hard to decide every single day. This day I'm gonna send hundreds of proposals. This day I'm gonna learn a new skill. Today I'm gonna work out. Whatever your dream lifestyle is, it probably boils down to some aspects that have a lot of actions that need to be taken, and those actions, they present themselves every single day. Even me, like filming this video, I do have an idea where I wanted to take this channel, and well, I have to sit down and film. That's just a decision I made, and the small decision today was, okay, to turn on the camera, turn on this microphone, turn on all of these lights, sit down and start talking. And if I wouldn't make that decision, which there are days that I don't make this decision, well, then I don't produce anything. And it just, nothing happens that day. That means my dreams are just a little bit further away. But to get back to my point in the beginning where I said that, I did make one big decision in my life. And I think that kickstarted a lot of other small decisions. But that one key thing that I think is very important for everyone to understand is to be independent. Benas, you might ask, what does it actually mean to be independent? It means not relying on anything in this life. For example, especially if you're in Europe, forget about your pension. We do have these amazing pensions systems sort of placed in Europe, and a lot of people rely on those. But if you just forget about that. I mean, if you're gonna get a good pension when you retire, amazing. That's a very good bonus for you. But I don't want people to start relying on things to be given something whenever they reach a certain age or something like that, governments can change. Politics can influence everything. The fund that your pension is based on, if you don't have access to it or something, many different things can go wrong in this world. But if you decide to be independent and you don't rely on that pension, then, oh, wait, so then you need to think how I'm gonna survive when, I'm not able to work and it's time for me to go to and just live off my own. Then I need to probably start investing. I need to start learning how to save money. Just once you implement that mindset, then that pension that is somewhere, you don't really think about that, and you start to kind of put the power of decisions back on you and be more independent of anyone. And the same goes for like creating an emergency fund. Better yet, like 6 months, ideally you go to 12 months. What is the purpose of emergency fund? If you don't know, emergency fund is just basically all of your expenses. If let's say 6 months of expenses saved up somewhere, usually stored in a sort of very safe place, that actually gives you options to be independent. If you have like 6 to 12 month expenses, you are able to quit your job on the spot and, do something else, try, experiment. If you don't have an emergency fund, then you're kind of locked in. You're not independent. You're dependent on the job, on the income that you get, because if something happens to that, you're kind of screwed. But creating an emergency fund is just another way of becoming more independent from any other outside influence. Then start investing each month. That's a really good thing to be independent. If you start growing your portfolio and it becomes, a certain size, you will feel a lot lighter, to say, because again, if something happens, you can sell the stocks, you can sell those ETFs, and you can use them for any purpose in life. And the bigger that portfolio grows, the more independent you become of any sudden expenses or anything that happens in life. And this is probably a big one, but I wouldn't recommend relying on your salary. This is how people earn most of their income in the world. And I'm not saying now you need to quit your job and just, start finding something. I'm saying that you need to start thinking about your salary as a temporary thing or as something that can disappear. If you start thinking that way, then then the next things are probably, so then I need to go create something. I probably need to start a side hustle. I probably need to search ways online of how I can do things on my own. That really helped for me. The decision to be independent really accelerated my thinking how I can just do everything on my own, create my own pension, create my own emergency fund, create my own investing style, just create my own salary. When you try to think in that independence way, it really, really makes you think about all of these little things that were given for granted, like salary, pensions, even credit cards. Some emergency happens, you just use your credit card and then you'll pay off but this is not being independent. You're not being in control when you use these things. And talking about salary, I'm probably going to be very biased because, I did this thing and I recommend others do, but I think freelancing is kind of the answer to majority of these things. Because what you do for your job right now, you can easily, very quickly transfer those same skills, but just, work on yourself instead of working for a company. I mean, it's a bit easier said than done, but generally you don't need to create a business. You don't need to invest. It's most of the fastest and easiest way to start to become more independent person. For example, after that's a very interesting thing how things turned out for me, but after I was fired from a marketing agency that paid me around like €1,000 per month, that was the last full-time job that I ever had, which was about maybe 7 years ago, maybe 8, something like that. And I remember I felt kind of angry that they fired me, and I thought I was doing a really good job, but that's probably a story for another time. But I remember making a very, very big decision after I was fired, is that I committed 100% to freelancing. And I said, freelancing, I'm not even gonna look for any other job ever. I'm just gonna, do freelancing and commit all of my time and resources to it. And an interesting thing happened. I earned over 60,000 euros the next year, or the for the upcoming sort of year, which is, an average of 5,000 euros per month. That's 5 times more than I was earning in that marketing agency. I was freelancing before, I did have experience, so, this might be kind of an exception, but depending on your situation, becoming a freelancer opened a lot of doors for me. And that's why I kind of recommend a lot of people to try that same path if you want to achieve your dreams lifestyle. Again, this, depending on what your dream lifestyle is, if it's not what I imagine it is, where you're independent, you sort of create your own luck and your own salary, and you are able to do things that you want to do when you want to do them, then yeah, probably this is not right for you. But if those things sound kind of what you dream about, then you probably need to go off the beaten path and off the system and, well, just, be more independent. And I understand that if you are working right now, probably separating from your job will feel like the most difficult decision you will ever make in your life. But in the long run, I think it's gonna benefit a lot of people. Again, this is only for people who are hungry for more, who want to get out of life a lot more than it is, they're presented with just a regular company salary. But it's just my biased opinion because I kind of did those things and I now preach that others will try the same thing. Either way, I do have a newsletter link down below where I talk a lot about freelancing and everything that I learned in the last 10 years, all of the strategies that I use and stuff like that. So if you want to learn more about freelancing, just, check it out in the link in the description. But YouTube, algorithm is pretty smart these days. So if it thinks you want to watch this video, so click here and, check it out if you like it or not.